Hi guys, how are we doing? So today, as you can see, we're doing some Lightroom tutorials. Ignore the dirty grey big headset. This is my gaming headset I use when I'm gaming, and I didn't have anything else that has a decent, quality microphone to get the audio for you guys, because the stereo microphone built into the webcam. As much as I use it for the weekly updates, it's fine, but I thought I'll give this one a go. If this starts to get uncomfortable after too long, or if it's a bit daft for these videos, just let me know in the comments, and I'll in future ones just use the stereo microphone. So we're going to get started, and as you can see, we're in Lightroom as we're doing some Lightroom tutorials. So what I'm going to do is, just before I start properly, I'm obviously on the Mac Mini here, but I've got my MacBook Air up next to me, which you guys can't see, but it's just over here. There's a secondary monitor so I can keep on like stuff and respond to messages, and if there's any stuff that I need up on there, like a bit of a set list, which I need to bring up now when I find where I hid it. It should be in this one. 2 seconds, guys. This is the issue with doing YouTube, right? Alright, I'll do it. Now I've got that up. Okay, I'm not going to go in the order that I've got up on here. I'm going to kind of just pick a random order as we go. I've picked 12 photos here. We'll do 12 episodes. I might not get them all recorded today. As you can see, it's 20 past 12 and won't be long until she's in, and I don't just want to be recording these while she's in the house, especially because I need to borrow my MacBook and everything today. So let's get started. Shall we start with possibly this one? Yeah, let's go with this one. I'm gonna get my mouse out of the way now because my mouse is currently what's on. I'm gonna swap to my graphics tablet. Right, so now we're using the graphics tablet. As you can see, also I'm running Mac OS 10 Yosemite. I will be recording a review of this at some point, but not just yet. I need to have a few weeks of playing around with it properly first. Right, here we go. Develop virtual. Well, it's nice to know everything's still working in Yosemite anyway. Bit of lag, but that's just from Apple's QuickTime screen recording not being particularly brilliant. What I want to start with, I think, is just going to be basic exposure, which is these things here. This is like the basic, so as it's called basic. Although as much as they are very advanced, it's the simple stuff you can do. It's just simple sliders that you move around. So to start with, as you can see, we've got burned out highlights here, and these are bright-ish. So what I'll do is, first I'll not expose it down just a tad, just try and bring a bit back in there, and I'm going to bring the highlights down. What that's doing, as you can see from the histogram, if you look, I can't orientate myself, but if you look over here at the histogram, the highlights are moved down. It's that little bit of the histogram there are getting moved up and down. So that's brought a little bit back out of that. But obviously this has darkened a lot of here, so what I want to do is bring up the shadows, and that brings a lot of DL shadows, as you can see from the histogram there. Something we can do in Lightroom is stick those on, which means that if I go too far there, it'll put this blue on, which is telling me that that has got into the blacks. So far in the blacks there's no detail left in it. And just hit Command Z and it'll do the same thing. It'll push into the highlights, it goes red, telling me that that's burning out. I don't always use those, it really does depend. I think I'll leave them on for the sake of this tutorial. Moving on, not the whites up a tad, even though we're going to get a bit. I'm going to go to the point just before it went red there. In blacks, I don't mind having a little bit black because it really does add some quite nice contrast into this image. A little bit of clarity. I think you don't want to push the clarity side too high because you get some really strange effects. I don't tend to go more than 10, more than 20 anyway. Landscapes I tend to push a bit further. Portraits I don't push more than 10 simply because it gets really strange. Push these vibrant sliders up, and right, vibrance and saturation are different. Saturation is obviously the saturation of the colours themselves, whereas the vibrance gives them the pop. That's the difference between those two. So as you can see in this image, like, I've moved those sliders, and just the difference in the colour is quite ridiculous really. I have no idea when I'm going to hit the 10-minute marker on this video, so I'm just going to keep on going. Obviously what we can do is hit, well, next, white balance is also in here. I'm going to touch on a bit more in a later video, but white balance is a strange one to play with, and tint, but they're both good for fixing concert images that have red, blue, green, pink, yellow, violet tints from the stage lights. They're good sliders for that, and they're good if your image wants to be kind of a sunny, happy day and it wasn't particularly that. You can make the temperature a bit warmer and it looks a bit better, or same vice versa if you wanted to look cooler, but I'll go into more detail on that on a later date. There's some tools up here that I'm going to touch on. I'm going to keep this short actually, simply because I'm going in more detail, and this was just the basic stuff. So yeah, obviously I'm going to go through each of these mini modules to some extent. Some will focus on more than others. But what you can take from the exposure is basically, when you're using the exposure ones, just play around. You don't need to take it to full. You take it to the point that looks the best. Like if I return that back to 0, the difference that you can get out of the highlight, like the shadows, is significant, but it isn't always the best way to go about it. If I hit that back to there and then knock that down to about there, and there we go, that's the exposure I want. So that's it for this one. This is just on the basics of Lightroom, and I shall catch you guys next week in the next video. Adios.